My office job continues. So.
There you go.
All right, so let's learn. We're learning Shar HaTshuva, Chovos haLevavos, Shar HaTshuva. Let's see if we can find the place together. Perik Shmini, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Oh yeah. Booked about that. I remember correctly. Right, there was two explanations. I don't know if either of you were there when we learned the last time, so maybe we could just start again, Perik Shmini. And that's okay. Avi Mishta'a on the bottom. Al Shela and Baal Tshuva Nasa Shava L'Tzadik Shleichot Ha'afpam. We'll go through it a little quicker. Right? It's a Baal Tshuva. The guy who does Tshuva correctly, properly, completely. Is he equal to a tzaddik that never did Avera? So in nice sense of Tshuva, I'm going to give the following response. Baal Tshuva Nechokim Shlosha Chalok. He says there's three types of Baal Tshuva. Yeshna Baal Tshuva Shnasa Shalom Tzadikim Shleichot. Some are equal. They are as if tzaddikim who never did an Avera. They're clean and that's what they are. There are Baal Tshuva that they are even on a higher level than those tzaddikim. On the other hand, there are those Baal Tshuva that are below the tzaddikim who never sinned, even though they've done tshuva. And he says, I'll explain it. I'll tell you which Baal Tshuva is included in these three categories. And he's very fascinating, how he explains it. It says, the first group of Baal Tshuvas are those with their Avera was that they didn't fulfill mitzvahs assays, which you're not chayv karasan. There's only one mitzvah say you chayv karasan, and that's korban. For example, mitzvahs tzitzis, lulav, sukkah, mitzvahs daimah, similar mitzvahs that you didn't fulfill the mitzvah. Tefillin, I guess. The whole list. When they do real tshuva, their hearts verbalize vidui that they were mavatal these mitzvahs, and we started on the kaim ways from now on they work to fulfill it. And they don't go back, they don't do it. Salam aleichem, if it's so long. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgives them. He forgives them. We're doing Shar HaTshuva Perik Ches, Chovos haLevavos. Hashem forgives them. They nasim, and they're just like a tzaddik who never was mevato one of the mitzvahs hasays. By them doing tshuva and now, putting the right foot forward, they are just like a tzaddik that never did an avera. And on this group, it said, he quotes like a saying. There's no source for it. It doesn't seem. He doesn't bring the source. They don't bring the source. Someone who repents, who comes back from sinning, as if he never sinned. So then, that's it. They forgive him then and there. That's group one. Group two, and that's essentially when the Matnas Chino, a few times explained, and he uses this as as a theme through the whole sugya here. That when you do an avera, there are two parts. There's the oshamnu and there's bogad. Boganu means I rebelled against you, Hashem. And every avera you do, you're being rebellious. You're not following what Hashem is mitzvah. Oshamnu means you've affected yourself. You've made yourself shemama. You made yourself desolate. The avera affects you. So when we're talking about mitzvahs hasays, I didn't do something negative. I just didn't do the positive. And therefore, you do tshuva. So now that's forgiven. You've taken care of away, so to speak, let's say the Bogadnu, and there was no Ashamnu really there. You missed the boat, but you didn't. And now, so now you're like a tzaddik omer. However, that second group of Bali Tshuva that he said they are above tzaddikim. It's talking about Bali Tshuva who transgressed light averos. What a light averos? No averos light. I know mitzvah is loisase. There are mitzvahs loisase that if you do it, you'll get malchus, for example. But there are mitzvahs loisase if you do chayiv chorus. He says mitzvahs says that you're not chayiv chorus. Obviously, from the punishment, it indicates that they're lesser of an avera. If you're not chayiv, if you're chayiv chorus, obviously a much more serious problem. And after transgressing these averas, you did tshuva, total. The some was and they live with the averas. They don't forget it, which in itself is like sort of a rebellious thing. You went against Hashem and you have it in front of you, and you constantly ask it to be forgiven. And you live with a certain embarrassment. You come close to Hashem, but you're embarrassed because you know you had sinned, you went against Hashem. And you have a fear of the oynish, and your spirit, your heart, whatever, is broken within you. And they live with a humbleness, in front of Hashem. It's a lack of arrogance. They know they felt, even if they don't tshuva, but they know they felt, they know they went against Hashem, they know they did things that are spiritually damaging. Their averas bring them to, like I said, it brings you to achno. You're humbled. Humbled when you know you fell short. And it gives you the extra push now to serve Hashem and fulfill your obligations. And they're not arrogant about any of the averas, the good mitzvahs. And even when they view themselves, when they make their inventory, even though they may have done many good actions, they don't consider it a lot because they're humbled. They don't show off. They do mitzvahs. They try to do it. There's a concept of other places. It's about doing mitzvahs, if possible, in a tzniistic way, quiet way. You don't have to put up a big sign. I'm doing a mitzvah. I'm a big tzaddik. You can do it in a way that's quiet. You don't have to call attention to yourself. Tznius.
There was actually a famous Simpsons episode about something about doing mitzvah. In their case, it was charity. I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about. It's like, but what is an example that encourages others to do mitzvahs if I'm kind of being very humble with what I'm doing? So if people will see the leader doing mitzvahs, they will encourage others to do so.
Right. Absolutely. So there's that balance. There's the balance of, if I do it publicly, it'll encourage other people. If I do it privately, I'm humbling myself, and I'm, so there's both. There is both sides, and it's always a hard call. You need guidance when you do it. That's why there is this idea with shuls, they make, what's it called, field, and they announce the amount people are giving, because that encourages other people to give. For example, different ashirim took different routes, as ROUTE, and how they gave out, right? There are many ashirim, and the Sfarman says it's fine that they have plaques all over the place. Again, encourages, like you say. But there were people who refused. There's what do they call? I have a book about that from Canada. With an R, I think. Yeah. There are no plaques. They were from, the leaders in the amount of tzedakah they gave. And there are no plaques anywhere. They just, okay. But in any case, certainly not being inspired. Even those who do it publicly so that it encourages others, but they don't work around saying, look how great I am. I deserve to covet this. You do that, so it's a chisaron in your mitzvah. And be careful never to stumble again. So here the haLevavos says a different, the novel explanation of the famous, and he's going to quote it, the famous Gemara that says, that where Bal Tshuva reached their heights, even a tzaddik gomer can't be there, right? And he's saying that's this group of people. He says, "V'tamadov." The reason why that is, tzaddik who never sinned, we have no assurance that he won't become arrogant because of his actions. He never fell. It's an unbelievable idea. It's human nature that when you fall, you get disillusioned, fall into years, you get depressed. But we're hearing here that it's just the opposite. When you fall, you have to take it to a place of humility. I'm not perfect. I'm not as perfect as I thought it was. I fell. I'm going to do tshuva. A tzaddik who never fell doesn't have that tool. It's a tool. It's a real tool. Someone who's never fell, he's a step away from gaiva.
But everyone's fallen. Isn't there a pasuk that there's no
right
person?
You're right, and I think he even says that over here. Even though there's somewhere he says that there really. Oh, I think the Matnas Chalko says in his parish, there is no such thing. But theoretically, in other words, and I guess the closer you are to that end,
how can you even call him a tzaddik? Yeah. The Gemara says Sheva Yipol tzaddik.
Right. Okay, don't call him a tzaddik. I don't know. I mean, that's what the Gemara says, right? What does that mean? A tzaddik gomer means someone who didn't do an avera, otherwise he'd be about tshuva. So
no, but it says Sheva Yipol tzaddik. I mean, Apollo maybe it's not an avera.
I heard your question, and I don't know the answer. But let's talk about someone who Taka never did an avera.
Maybe he fell. His Apollo was not doing an asay.
No, here he's clearly saying the Chazal is clearly talking about someone who was over Bali Chuvas, people who are over on low sasays without chorus but regular low sasays. Comparing it to a tzaddik gomer means someone who never would transgress.
I mean, you're somebody who hasn't transgressed, so you can speak for yourself.
All right. I'm pouring now. Where did you see that? I saw that the Ramatis show threw that in a bracket, but there really isn't such a person, that never sinned. But for our purposes, we're saying that
the Gemara has a list of 4. Does the Gemara have a list of 4?
You're gone. Your audio's not working too well.
Eliyahu, Navi, Chanaich. There's a list of 4 people that never sinned.
Okay, so good. So let's say, so how are you going to deal with that? You're just arguing for me. You know what I mean? So you see, you could have someone who never sinned.
No.
Don't take it to a tangent. Each thing's a sugi on its own. But for our purposes, right? Imagine one of these people never sinned, right? So he doesn't have this tool. That's the Chovos haLevavos. Where is it again?
I think that the person that sinned the most and then got up is the one that's more tested. He's more tested, so he's neman to get up again. So he'll sin again, and he'll get up again. Like it says that a Talmid Chacham, if you see a Talmid Chacham sin at night, so you should assume that he did tshuva by the morning.
Yeah. I understand. Because your audio was so good. I'm not sure. What are you trying to say with that?
I'm saying that the more a person sins and corrects himself, the more he's neman to do it again.
To do the sin again?
No, to get up again. To get up and do tshuva.
Okay. So that's fine. That's fine. Because here we're explaining that category of Ali Tshuva that are considered greater than a tzaddik who never sinned. So fine. So you're just agreeing.
Yeah.
So he's saying of someone who fell has these tools. This is how the Chovos haLevavos is learning it. We'll take a look again in the Matnas Chaim. He brings the more standard shot. But so where are me? I lost the place here. He says, but a tzaddik, a tzaddik who never sinned, we can't be assured that he won't be arrogant, he won't show off. The one who did fall has felt what it means to fall. He has tools of humility. He's much further away from being arrogant when he does good actions. While the tzaddik who never fell, we can't be assured that he won't go that way. And then this tzaddik who never sinned until now, and it will bring him to gaiva, lev, right? These things, he'll end up falling even lower than the Baal Tshuva fell. It says, and again, this is the statement that it seems to be just a statement people say. The Falman Moilachet about Tshuva, it doesn't think it's a pasuk or Gemara anywhere. They're not bringing footnotes for it. That at times they say that Avera helps the Baal Tshuva Yoiser Mimasha Mayuas Litzadi Kotsit Koisav. The Avera helps the Baal Tshuva more than all the righteous things that the tzaddik does to help the tzaddik. Because all those righteous things that the tzaddik does is a great start, can be a trigger, a stumbling block. While when the Baal Tshuva fell, it becomes a trigger for him to grow. A little bit like you were saying, Sheva Tzaddik Yipo. Because the tzaddik, sometimes the good actions of the tzaddik is damaging to the tzaddik. More so than Shmazikim about Tshuva Kol Chatav, that all the Averis, more so than all the Averis the Baal Tshuva did to the Baal Tshuva. When does that happen? When his righteousness, his good deeds, is a cause for him to turn his back on humility. And rather it brings him to the gaiva and to enjoy the praise. He says, one of the tzaddikim said to his talmidim, and if you would not have sinned, I'd be afraid that you would stumble more in something greater than an Avera. So what's worse than Avera? Arrogancy. I don't know exactly how to translate the word tzvius. Usually tzvius means someone who's not, he's like a sting operation, someone who's not honest. So the tzaddik said that in a way I feel better, more comfortable with Averis, with doing Averis, because it could be worse. Baal Tshuva ke'elu. He says this is his shot. It's a chiddush shot. When Chazal say it's because it is, because the Baal Tshuva has all kind of. It's more like, I'm just thinking about it now. I might be wrong, but it sounds like he's saying that we understand that it means about Jews on a higher level. And in fact, this is that category. But a little bit you could say that the Baal Tshuva could stand in a situation that Tzaddik can't because he has defense right. Again, Rabbi said, I talk off the top of my head, so everything I say should not be taken too seriously. But when someone was, hey, we just went through Corona, right? Once you were sick and you got the antibodies, you're much stronger. You could be in situations that someone who never got sick. The guy who has the antibodies, he doesn't need to wear a mask necessarily. Don't jump on my neck if I say something wrong, right? He could go out, he could be with people because since he went through it, he developed protection. The Tzaddik government never protected, and therefore, at places where about Tshuva stands, the Tzaddik Gemara can't stand. He doesn't have protection. He's open, wide open to the Eight Sahara. Isn't that unbelievable? It's a Tzaddik Gemara, someone who never did an favor, but he's all wide open for the Eight Sahara to get him while the Baal Tshuva in there. He overcame it. He has antibodies. And the antibodies, it seems, are the midah of humility, of hachno. And the virus is gaiva. That's how he's explaining it. Before we go to number 3, I see we don't have time today. That's exactly where we ended up last time. Let me just read to you what this, I think the more standard understanding of this Gemara, how he explains it. Rambam, he brings the Rambam in Hilches Tshuva, Perek Zayin. Shekimich Baal Tshuva Tam Tamchet. The reason why Baal Tshuva is considered greater is because since he tasted the chet, so now his challenges are much greater. He had the geshmak. The Yitzhara makes Avera sweet, and I tasted it. So now when he's faced with Avera and he overcomes it, says the Rambam, then his schar is greater than the tzaddik gomer who doesn't do the Avera. These are the words. About Tshuva shouldn't envision and think that he's far away from the levels of tzaddik because of those averis that he did. He shouldn't feel that way, says the Rambam. It's not true. He's beloved. He's endeared in front of Hashem. As if he never sinned. And not only that, his reward is a lot greater. Because he tasted Avera. Upirish man, and he separated, he left it, and overcame his yetzer. And that's something that the tzaddik didn't do. We have a rule. We have a rule that a mitzvah that comes with difficulty is worth 100 mitzvahs that didn't. The Baal Tshuva, his battles are so much stronger because he's tasted the Avera. On the other hand, the tzaddik didn't, so it's not so hard. So he's understanding it, that simple explanation, that their Maila is greater than those who never sin, because they're avoida, they're overcoming the age so much greater. I'll just end off, that we mentioned last time also that what was his name? Urizar? That was Nifta last week. He once said the opposite. He was once interviewed and someone said, most probably your reward is much greater than the reward of the people like in Bnei Brak who have never been where you are. And he said, no, your mama's wrong. He says, I don't get much reward. I've been there and I know it's empty. I know there's nothing there. It's easy for me. They live with an imagination that what's over there on the other side of the street is geschmack, and they have to overcome it. I don't have to overcome anything. I lived, I know it's all sheker, I know it's empty. But that's another side, each side has another side. Okay, Rabbi Reis, it's so nice to see you. And I don't know who Joseph A is, so I can't say hello to someone I don't know. If you want to identify yourself.
I want to let you know. Can you hear me?
What's that?
Can you hear me?
I hear
Rebbe,
you.
it's Rami Abelson. Joseph A is Rami Abelson.
Ah, who added you on? I didn't tell anyone to add you.
No, there was a barcode in one of the emails that were sent out for the daily halacha.
Ah,
So I just scanned that.
oh,
Well, there you
great.
go.
There you go. You see that?
It
Oh, wow,
works.
beautiful.
It's
It
a slow
works.
grind, but it works.
Ron, I just spoke to him yesterday,
I
or
was
2 days
by-
ago.
Huh?
His name popped up on my phone. I called him just because his name popped on my phone and we discussed that he should join. And I said, I'll send him a link and I never did, but it worked.
Stuff Pratis.
Unbelievable. Any of you guys were there when Rami was there? Rami Abelson? No? Originally from California. Now from New
Batzal
York.
and I were in the same year.
What's that? You and
Batzal and I
Batzal.
were in the same year.
All right.
I
Gavaldik. Okay, Rabbi say.
I was by a share by Rabbi Klausner over Shavuos.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, in Chicago.
Batzal, didn't you also collapse the hotel when Yom
Right
Kippur?
down the street.
All right, Rabbi say, I gotta go. You can chat. Okay,
Yes,
I'm sorry.
So.
I'll hope to see you all tomorrow again. Bezos Hashem.